SNZ1 podcast, and you know how we do. We're back again, but this time we're back in a sumptuous way more. We just want to always give you guys flavor. Very soon we'll be giving you P2 too, but for the start, my name is Ola Oluwasanmi,
Okay.
and you know how we do it. With me is
My name is Oluwafumilala Osoko. You can call me Omidon. All your videos in hearts. Any way you want to do it. Anyhow you want to do it.
and then today we are we're here in a way that you guys, we have a lot to give you guys.
When
we have somebody.
2 or 3 are gathered, something is cooking.
So we have with us one of the most brilliant lawyers in Nigeria, in Africa. But let's give him the chance to introduce himself.
Good afternoon, everyone. We are back like we never left. My name is Tokwe Salami. I'm EPS4 Youth Ambassador and an excellent lawyer.
See, Jai, tell me in Nigeria, one of the EPS4 Youth Ambassador.
I got fun now.
And the topic we're talking about today since you saw Tokwe here, you would know that what we're talking about today is something that has to do with law and order, which is our topic. Does law and order exist in the creative industry? If I'm going to first answer the question before I then throw it open to everybody.
You're our father, so you need to...
How now? Calm down. No, they whine us. So the thing is this. In my own opinion, I think there is, especially in Nigeria, I think there's no law and order. And I think so because, which I'm going to be asking Tokwe very soon. I've heard about somebody that signed 80 years contract, which I feel, if they remove 10 years out of your life, what do you mean?
1 decade.
Like you remove a decade from somebody's life. Like what do you mean? Like I feel like people, because the reason why I said that was because the people that are supposed to enforce the law are not even acting as if they are part of the system.
Absolutely.
So I feel like there's no law and order. Like it's easy for you to boycott the law and snitch, boycott the law or the enforcer. But if the people who are supposed to enforce the law are not active, what do we have?
Nothing.
So in my own opinion, I think there's no law and order. But I will throw the question open to Omidon first and then to Tokwe next.
All right, for me, I don't think there's any law or order in the Nigerian music industry, especially. And you wonder why I'm saying Nigeria, because that's where I live. And over the time, I have always been a music critic and also entertainment critic. Now, I'm not going to say I'm just going to streamline it with just the music industry, the entertainment industry as a whole, because someone like me, I like to study people. I like to understand what they do and how they do it. But when it comes to the law and order, but it feels good that we have a lawyer right here with us today. Like I said, when 2 or 3 are gathered, something is cooking. But I'm sure that before the end of the show, we're going to serve you all of the dishes that you want to know.
So, Mr. Tokwe.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Do you think there's law and order? We even suppose...
No, it's the law.
You are the law.
Let's just do the law.
So, now you suppose give us like the broad angle to it.
Yeah.
So do you think there's law and order?
So I think I'm going to break it down into like 2 or 3 segments.
Okay.
There is a big difference in having specific or specified law and order.
Yeah.
There is also a difference in having effective and enforceable law and order.
Yeah.
Then the third one would be the absence of the first and the second one, which will now be related to the consumers. So the first one now, I would like to cast our mind back to 2020 when we had COVID, when COVID was, really high. No one knew we had an act called the Quarantine Act until COVID came. So we have these laws, we have procedures, we have these customs, yeah? But I think we are just in Africa, with the exception of maybe South Africa, we are naturally laid back people. If or when a problem has not surfaced,
Okay.
we won't probably think of how to solve the problem. In Nigeria, we have various laws here guiding the operations of creatives in the industry. Yeah. We have laws guiding the operations management of companies in Nigeria. The problem or what we lack are two things. One, putting the right people, the right set of people in the job or on the job. The second one will be putting those who understand how to enforce these laws without any form of bias. In Nigeria now, sometimes 3 months ago, during the last administration of President Muhammadu Buhari, we had a new Copyright Act. The question is, how many people got this information? The question is, what are the major differences between what became law a few months ago and what we started using as far back as 1985? Little or no difference. Now, I may not really put blame on anyone, yeah, but in this country, we lack research prowess. It's another thing for me to come to you to say, oh, I'm an intellectual property lawyer, I'm an entertainment lawyer. It is your job to still dig further to say, oh, say this guy, no one scope me. Let me check. Let me do my findings. I'd expected that if we had waited this long to have a new Copyright Act, I would have expected, or I'd expected that the new Copyright Act would have taken care of yesterday, would take care of today, and would take care of the future. Trust me, in the next few months, you will see people coming up to say, oh, we need to amend the Copyright Act again. Aside from the Copyright Act, we have the Trademarks Act, we have the Patent Act, we have rules and laws governing contracts. These laws are there. They might not be updated, agreed, but these laws are there to guide the operations of operating as a creative company or operating as an individual creative. And there's also another problem that we have in Nigeria. Yeah, let me use Nigeria. The problem of, I said something about enforceability. It's another thing for people to be somewhere that would enforce it, to say, oh, you have not paid your tax, oh, you sold out TBS, you didn't pay the government for anything. It's another thing for the matter to now get to the courts and for the judge or justices, depending on the level of the case. It's another thing for our judges, justices to have an idea or to know how the industry operates. Initially, I told you about law, I told you about procedures, I told you about customs. There are certain things that we won't use law to solve. Whether use procedure or we use custom. Now, there are various legs of the creative business that you cannot even find them anywhere in Nigeria. What have we done? We borrowed them from the UK. We borrowed them from the United States of America. We borrowed some of these rules and procedures, yeah? We borrowed these things from foreign countries. Proud to, and even till now, proud to having the new Copyright Act. There's a simple rule in the music business. If I'm a producer, if you are the artist, there's a leg of right that we are equally entitled to have, and that is the publishing. It's unfortunate that you won't find this anywhere, but that is the way we operate. Why? We went there, brought in their practice and procedures. You guys are already getting it right. Let us bring it here. Let us remodel ours after yours. Let's see if there will be progress. Two things to answer the question. We have laws and we have orders in this country, but the problem is, how do we enforce it? When we get to courts, our judges, imagine taking a matter to a court and the judge probably has no idea of how that industry works. At the end of the day, the judge will force you to settle. That's where you see, or that's where you hear, claim parties, make sure you settle out of court. Settle this in out of court. And I won't blame them, yeah? You cannot give what you don't have. You can only give what you have. So if I'm a judge and I don't have an idea of a particular case, and obviously my judge brothers or my judges brothers or the other judges have no idea of that particular case, what it entails. Stylishly, I will cajole the parties to say, oh, settle out of court. But the problem is, settling out of court is, I'm not saying settling out of court is not fine. It is good. But the problem is, settling out of court will make you lack precedent. So if something similar happens tomorrow, you cannot lay emphasis on when this thing happened, though, this was what the judge said. This is what the judge said. This is the position of the law.
I think that was even what law thrives on, when they're able to reference what somebody did sometimes.
Yes.
So, and if we don't have precedent, that area of practice as far the creative industry or maybe the entertainment industry at large can never grow. Because it is when you get to court, it is when our judges are seeing the loopholes, the lacuna, when the government too, when they are seeing it, that is when they can come together to say, there is a problem here, how do we solve it? See these people now, Lagos State Internal Revenue Service, what they do right now is to go on your Instagram, if you are a creative.
Yes.
They copy your email.
Absolutely.
And they send to you a letter saying you should come and pay tax.
Yes.
We are not saying paying tax is not a regular procedure, but there are better procedures than the procedure they must have taken. Why have they taken the procedure? They have taken the procedure because there is a law that stipulates XYZ to pay tax. But the question is, how many people are aware?
How many people are even on Instagram that you can go and check their email?
How many scapegoats do we even have?
How many people read?
How many scapegoats? No, people will not read it. Yeah.
That's the problem.
How many scapegoats do we have? Currently, it's sad that one of the main organs in the creative industry, they've been at loggerheads for years. I don't know if I'm permitted to. Koson. Koson. For years, it's been from one trouble to the other. And that is why our creative right now, instead of dealing with Koson, I'd rather go to America or I go to the UK to deal with PRS, or I go to Holland to do stuff with Song Trust or IMRO. So all these things, we need the government to open their eyes to see the potential. In fact, naturally, we don't need to tell anybody that there are potentials in the creative industry. But let's just assume that we want to tell them. To see the potential in it, to see the potential in that industry, and to think of how they can tap into it whilst you are still helping that industry. The question is, what stops our our artists from having tour around the country. Maybe they will go to Europe now. They will go and do European tour.
15 days.
They will go to Tanzania, do this. But yeah, I understand there are some factors, security factor, yeah.
One.
But at the same time, how has the government at large been supporting this industry? We've been relying on crude oil. We will sleep one day and our crude oil will dry up.
I saw that coming. I knew.
But the only thing that cannot, except the word perishes today, the only thing that probably will not dry up will be our intellectual property. Now, yesterday we had some guys who are now legends as of today. Those who are there now popping, they are going to be legends tomorrow. Some people will still come up.
Like I said, the cool cats.
So, who? No be my mouth. Yeah, I know hear am o. I don't want to allow.
Like I say.
But then, I mean, in generally, aside, even beyond the creative industry, we have laws, yeah, we have others, but the enforcers are not there.
And that's what makes it frustrating, which in my own opinion. So, first off, like I said, I was going to ask you, is it right for a label to sign an artist for 8 years, 10 years?
So, it depends on the kind of deal. That is one.
Okay.
It is only in Nigeria or Africa that a label will sign for XYZ period of time, and once the artist gets famous, you will hear, Baba, I want to come on the label, I want to come on the label. If proper structures are put in place, yes, you don't dey blow, you don't dey make money. People think the journey of entrepreneurship, people think it's easy. You can be in a record label or on a record label and still be getting what you deserve. Now, to the talk of 8 years or maybe 10 years, I've seen several situations where a label will say, oh, we want to sign you for 10 years, we want to sign you for 8 years. To me, it's a no-no. To me, and on behalf of any of my clients. But in the real sense of it, it is for parties to agree. Who am I? If a client says, Baba, I'm going to do 10 years with them, who am I to say no? I'm not the party. The only thing I can do is to advise. But if people now say, you want to do 10 years, stop. No allow.
So how many years do you think is fine?
Depending on the level of the artist. If the artist is just coming up, like unknown.
No, we don't call them unknown. We call them
up and coming, or emerging artists, yeah. If for emerging artists, yeah, I can recommend between 4 to 5.
Okay.
For a blown artist, I might not even recommend the normal record label deal, because you are blown. Like you are blown, yeah. You already have a fan base. A licensing deal will not be bad for you. But if you still want to do the normal record label deal, 10 years, all the best, my brother and my sister. But reasonably, going into a label agreement of 10 years is not a good idea.
You see, the thing
it's not a good idea at all.
I told somebody, because one of the things I noticed was this. I noticed that people, when they get into this label, so at first, because I'm in creative minds, they don't care about the process. Then they get into this label. They now probably saw what their mates are getting outside, or maybe what somebody who is an independent artist is making on their own. Then they become greedy. Now, a lot of the time, because I tell people this, the same mind that you used to think, the same mind that you used to, you have to relax the mind. So if there's no peace in your mind, some of the time you lose your creative strength. So most of the time, while they are fighting this fight, they are losing their creative strength of writing songs, recording, and all that. So most of the time, by the time you are done fighting that fight, most of the time they are out of the.
Your time don't go.
So I tell people most of the time, but see, I mean, maybe you go fit testify to this one. When you don't go bad, just accept and go through if not 5 years, go through the 5 years, and when you are done, I tell people that the same mind where you take create song now that people are dancing to, do you think is going to dry? You can still create something that is better than what you're creating now. So just go through the process. You don't sign, but if you are going to allow your mind go through that stuff of, having to drag 5 years, go to court and all that. Plus, when these labels, maybe they send, like, that was what happened to Brian, when they send a memorandum to radio stations, even by the time the cases died down, most of them will still not play your song because they are scared. They don't
want to now.
Like what you're saying, even if the case ends, there's no publication of, this case is over and all that. So they don't even know when the case ended or not. So, in my own opinion, how do you guide somebody whose mind is in that spot where when he knows, say, for instance, you have some label that will sign you for a long time, but they will never take care of you, they will not show you.
Yeah.
How do you guide that kind of person? I'm not just talking about the knowledge of maybe how do we get out of this deep, but how do you help them keep their mind sane, being a professional that you are?
So, thank you. Whether we like it or not, there are elements of greediness in every human being. At a stage, you will be as humble as the word humble itself.
That's at the beginning.
Yeah, at the beginning. Now, when you get to a stage and you're like, you want to leave, you want to do that. One option or two options. Let us sit. Let us talk. Artist, why do you want to leave? The first problem is, let us identify the problem. When we identify the problem, if the problem is solvable, fantastic. If it is not solvable, we will still do what? Sit and talk about it and look for a solution. Everybody needs to know that regardless of your age, there is what we call the creative burnout. No matter how good you are, even if you like sing past fella, there will come a stage or there will come a particular period where you really cannot sing the way you probably used to sing years back. Another thing is, if you are forcing a particular creative to say, stay there, and that is what I was trying to explain with precedence. If we have one or two scapegoats here, everybody will sit tight. Because prior to that, there would have been a proper structure to say, okay, you want this, you want to do this, you have your calendar, the artist is happy, the record label too is happy. I would not force any label to continue a particular working relationship with any creative. Yeah, you want me to stay for additional 5 years? Yeah, I'm going to stay, no wala. The creative will not give you any hits.
Yeah. Okay, now let's say you said the creative will not give you anything. What if you get an opportunity or part of the contract means you get ghostwriters and also probably coach to help you? What if?
So the point is, do you think a label whose artist is already giving, them issues, do you think they would want to commit such flamboyant resources towards the project? No. Now everybody is trying to.
And God bless you. I mean, I had a scenario. I had a scenario like that so I was signed to a label. I was an artist signed to a label at one point, and then they had issues with the artist who was ahead of me. And then the moment, because the guy was very enthusiastic at first, so the moment they had issues, they affected me. So he said, "Not be me cause the issue." So for almost like the first 8 months thereabout, we could not do anything. Like I was not recording, I was not doing anything. I didn't show anything. We would just, at some point it was when the guy now healed, and the guy now started again. But even the truth was, it was then
no even free. A bit late. It would have been a bit late.
Not even free with everybody.
No, it won't be. It won't be. It won't be at all.
Wow.
It won't be.
So exactly. It's a lot of, so from the creative side, it's one part, from the person financing it, because the moment you give sign that he can't trust you, then he would reduce his own resources.
Wow.
That's the thing. I mean, a lot is happening in the industry. You would see labels, you want to leave, don't worry, don't leave. they will do what you want for you, but that your career,
Exactly.
they will frustrate that your career.
Intentionally frustrate your career.
I know the saddest thing.
What?
The saddest thing is to have an enemy within.
Mm.
If you get enemy outside though,
Yeah.
but enemy
your
within wey be say una suppose dey chop together, una dey take water together, una dey go club together. You guys are cool o, they won't plan to do any harm to you o, but you just realize that your career is stagnant. Your career is not moving forward, and you realize that someone pikin wey dem born today now,
You don't dey grow past.
you don dey even headline show wey you never even headline.
Let me tell you how deep. This is very deep. The day I heard this thing, I was shocked.
That.
So there was a guy that signed, a label owner that signed an artist, and then they both had issues. Now this was after they had agreed, and everybody don't go their separate ways. So I was having a conversation with the guy, the label owner, and he was saying that he won't do that guy bad, and he wanted to go patent his name,
Trademark.
trademark the name, and then after 10 years, he go ask the guy for dividends.
So I'd said something earlier. The entertainment law sector is just growing. We will be entertainment lawyers, we sabi ourselves. When you want to trademark, there are conditions for it.
Okay.
You cannot go and trademark with a bad faith.
What does that mean?
Like, oh, I won't do you wayo, I won't do you bad, I won't do you bad.
How would they know?
So, I don't want to make mention of that case, but I would. Years ago,
Okay.
a label trademarked a particular artist name. The artist now changed it to something similar to what
They trademark.
the trademark, yeah? Now, the lawyer of the creative then said, don't use the name again, don't blah, blah, blah. And in my mind, I was like, it is not enough for you to go and trademark my name. Yeah, you don't trademark Warabi, no wala. A court injunction should follow it. I mean, where the law has not restricted me from performing an action, an empty paper or an ordinary paper
Wow.
would not, restrict me. Now, you've trademarked it. Yes, let us go to court. Let us go and test the law to see the main purpose or the intention of what you have done.
Okay.
And the only thing that can stop me as a creative, not to do something is if there is a court injunction. There was no court injunction.
Wow.
And that is what, I keep saying, in this entertainment law circle, you just see some people, because they love listening to music, or because they can do guitar, or because they love, or because they can DJ,
Oh.
they will just come and say, I'm an entertainment lawyer. And sadly, the label might not be able to ask questions as such, because the label might not even understand the business.
Exactly.
Maybe the label chief just wants to probably get popular,
Yeah.
or
Saying, oh, he's not financing what
or
he's
he's
doing.
trying to just build that chain of business, and person will come, the law, okay, no, I'm an entertainment lawyer, don't worry, okay, let's do this, let's do that. That person suffered from a wrong advice. I don't see any reasonable entertainment lawyer that will say, oh, don't use it. Well, maybe for some of us anyways.
Okay.
I still go to court. I started my practice in court. So I might be the only entertainment lawyer, or maybe one of the 2 or 3 entertainment lawyers that still practice entertainment law inside the courtroom.
Amazing.
I file cases myself. I don't give cases out because I'm a litigator. I go to court regularly. There's nothing you want to tell me that, even if I don't know, I'll go and do my research on it. And that was what gave birth to why I said earlier that most of our judges, not most, all, not most, all, they really don't understand how this sector works, yeah. And it will not be too bad for us to have an intellectual property court where the judge will be an entertainment lawyer. I was explaining this to someone, I think 2 months ago, and the person was like, oh, so the rule is before you become a judge in Nigeria, you would have High Court judge, you would have probably practiced for 10 years. And the person was like, what if all these young chaps that are coming up that have not practiced for 10 years, how did they get there? Then I said, they have to be an exception to the general rule. Because if you are making a judge that probably likes listening to Akpala music, gaskia, no be saying sabi anything. A judge in the intellectual property court.
Okay.
Please, what justice do you want to get from someone that doesn't understand what is going on? Once we have 1, 2, or 3 scapegoats, everybody will fit tight. We need an intellectual property court. We need intellectual property judges. Where we say the only thing we them go they do now anything intellectual property, which is of course inclusive of entertainment law, music, movies, and co. Because intellectual property is actually extremely wide. Forget what we see on the screen on TV. Intellectual property is wide.
So the question is, I have a question I want to ask.
Feel
right?
free. I won't beat you.
You wouldn't even beat me on this.
I won't knock you.
So the question is, what does it take to be an entertainment lawyer? The reason I'm asking this question is, I have a friend, the sister is a lawyer, and she's been called to bar. So in recent, I was asking her that, why don't you just go into entertainment? She was like, we don't deep go. Deep gone. And I'm like, why? You can do it. She said, I'm a woman, no deep gone. Deep gone. Because it gets to a point that you don't get to be emotional about anything. Just face the fact. And the fact is just the fact. That is mostly done by guys. And we don't have a lot in Nigeria. But I want to ask the question, why don't we have a lot of entertainment lawyers in Nigeria?
So, I will start from what you said. Deep gone. Deep gone. So, the creative industry is a peculiar one that if you don't love that industry, you won't enjoy what you are doing. Not that, I want to be an entertainment lawyer because I want to be rolling with stars. No. In fact, that should not even be part of the conditions at all times. You should want to be an entertainment lawyer because you love it. Now, as an entertainment lawyer, I might be sleeping in my house and maybe Alpha, bro, every day, link up. 1 a.m. I go carry key, boom. I don't go island with that, or I don't go anywhere where the person wants to see me. There are certain sacrifices that we do. And if you are lazy, you can never do it. You can never meet up. That's one. To qualify as an entertainment lawyer, the first thing is just make sure you are called to the bar first. Nigerian bar, if it is American bar, any bar, not the bar where they sell alcohol. Any bar. Then afterwards, you can go through a mentor. You can also have certain courses. You can take certain courses online. Just make sure that you get the rudiments. Even for some of us that are fully in it right now, we started from somewhere. You learn on the job, but just make sure that you love what you are doing, because it is that love, it is that passion that will be driving you, that will be keeping you on till you get to that switch.
There's a switch.
There's a switch.
Everything good.
It's like you're cooking beans. Beans don't spend 10 hours for this thing. I can't come. How far? Beans never do. I can't say, okay, right, it's okay. 5 minutes, beans don't do. Everybody, food don't did and everybody on the chop.
So another question is, a lot of people up on socials and also people that I meet, you know, you see a new artist that's been signed to a record label, and you sign 5 years, 4 years, right? Then 1 song, 2 songs, within the royalty, and I wonder.
And so everything is dependent on the kind of contract where they enter. If the contract is such that the label must recoup first, that's another case. If it is such that the label would recoup, but a certain percentage will still be going to the artist, that is another stage. Then you say something, 1 song, 2 songs, and you're already demanding for royalties. Yeah, it's possible. We need to look at the duration too.
Okay.
And we need to look at how well those songs have done. Pick a love entity from CK. A material released even like a year
before it started blowing up.
Yeah. The total stream right now is not less than 1 billion.
Why do I think you are his lawyer?
No, I'm not his lawyer.
Okay.
Like 1.something
billion. Yeah, I'm serious. You can check it.
Now, female lawyer should get
No, I don't even know.
But the thing about this industry is a lot of them emerging artists. Because me, I don't like to call the word up and coming.
They're up and coming.
Up and coming. O ti pẹ́ o, o ti lọ sí studio, o ti náwó ara, o ti náwó ara, o ti náwó, o ti náwó blood. You know, so I don't call you upcoming.
Okay, so what will you call a B-list artist? We dey everywhere, every week, shows. All of a sudden, the person just went low key, maybe for 6-8 months. Then the person going to try to release music again. What do you call this?
That's a long time to go low key.
No, it's people do it. I don't want to be mentioned. Even B or A list sometimes. I don't want to be mentioned. I don't want to be mentioning names. Yeah, I mean it's happening.
Who used to mention names on the show?
8 months. No.
I said we should not mention.
No.
So there's law and order.
No. But seriously, there are artists that no, I don't even. Okay, so let me. For someone like Mayoko now, I keep telling people, una no say Mayoko don't go back small. He's trying to come up.
Yeah, I know. I sense it at some point.
In my own mind, I feel like his was a strategy. Because at some point, he decided that he's no longer doing the featuring. I think he's trying to regroup himself and recoup and all that. I don't know, whatever, but I just felt.
But you know the problem.
Engineer, I'm picturing because at some point he stopped doing featuring and then recently he's coming back doing featuring.
Because some people always say that when you feature a lot, those people that you feature, they take your shine.
It can shine. The thing go shine. The thing is, I keep telling people, except for extreme cases, taking a break is dangerous.
Especially in the music industry.
It's dangerous.
So what
If our Odogu,
he's not taking a break.
He's not taking a break. If our Odogu drops body of work like maybe twice in a year or maybe once in a year, pack. Then with anybody to
left and right.
You need to be you need to be pack. And you know our attention span in Nigeria is very low.
I feel like most of the time it's because of
it's
because of some of the songs that these people do. Sometimes their songs are not even they are not time tested. They could not be time tested. Like they would not endure the tested, and because of how they make the songs. I'm thinking somewhere like a Timmy Dakolo now, Asha, people like that. They invest more time in making the song, which is why those songs will stand the test of time. Unlike someone that is doing a song that after like a month you're tired of listening to the song.
And so we also need to consider the genre of this music as well.
True.
We need to consider that as well.
True.
But trust me, you as an artist, bro, taking a long break. Mashirel.
So shout out to everybody who's been with us. I mean, we've been talking to Talkway, and I think it's been amazing because I think at some point, I realized that even we say pause
Because you had to listen.
You have to listen and learn a lot. Because I mean, the normal revive that you know.
Sorry, oh.
know
Sorry, oh.
the normal revive that you know are going to be talking back and forth.
This was just like this was a class in section.
Yeah.
And so far so good.
Class.
It's been going on. But I want to ask, in the industry, who are the people called A-list? Now, we understand that you see somebody like Odogu, you see people like Risky and the likes, they are the A-list artists. But what criteria do you need to belong to A, B, C, D list? What do you have to do? Because as a lawyer, you understand the growth.
So we need to understand your time in the industry. Imagine someone, person who don't get like 11 years uninterrupted blow, back to back. And imagine someone who just come today, bam, he blow, bam. Now, we need to consider the time.
Okay.
We need to consider the kind of music. We need to consider your performances. Like, oh, you're selling out 20,000, 40,000. We need to consider all this. We need to consider your numbers too. How well are you selling music? And at the end of the day, we need to consider Kudi, Ego.
And then at some point, if you communicate all of that together, you'd realize that people who you call the A-list artists, on their own, they could sell out a show as the headliner.
In fact, it is only in Nigeria that me I've seen this thing that they will say, you know, a live in concert, naturally, professionally, you are not meant to bring your friends to say, oh yeah, come and perform. In live, you will see a John Bellion, yeah. You will see the stadium filled to the brim. Now only him.
Get the night.
Waiting Oyinbo they always use live in concert to do is to test the popularity and to also test the strength
of how long he could communicate or engage
of the artist. To say, okay, yeah, say you have 100 million followers on IG and Twitter. Oh yeah, let's do this thing. A live in concert naturally should be, I'm buying ticket because of this guy. I want to listen to your music. But you know, Nigeria, we have our ways of I mean, but anything is doable.
You do AY live when you know you are the comedian, but then you bring like 1,000 other comedians to come on.
So
I think they're just sharing the fame.
You need to test. You need to test your strength.
Most of the time, these artists, number one, like you said, it's live in concert. They don't even have the capacity to do a live concert. Because I've noticed that sometimes a live concert, you probably might not even sing the song that you're singing the way it was recorded.
See, some of our, just like I said, as an entertainment player, you must not be lazy. Some of our creatives are lazy, so they cannot go through the stress of. How many of our creatives can do live stage or live performance?
Oh no.
Most of them DJ. I think Timmy Dakolo will do live very well.
Cobams.
No, I'm talking of, you know.
Okay.
The band will do live anytime, any day.
Absolutely.
That one, he will do live anytime, any day. Timmy will do live anytime, any day. Burna Boy will do live anytime, any day. Wizkid will do live anytime, any day. Thames will do that. Simi will definitely do that. Adekunle Gold will definitely do that. I don't know of others. Rika Sani will definitely do live. Johnny Drill will do live. Chike will do live. I mean, and these things are not
let's
easy.
Let's not forget Johnny Drill.
Yeah, def.
I'm happy that I mean, the names of people are calling. We both agreed that this person could do live in concert.
No, but really, we know that
everybody's been a part of this. We're going to be rounding up now, but before we round up, there's one more question that we want to ask.
I'm here, sir.
What do you think is that one thing that a creative should look out for in the contract before they sign the contract? Because let's just assume, because we know say most of them now get strong get
Bye.
because they make no sign contract with a lawyer. Now still no go do it.
no go.
Some of them, I'm no go. You guys will not
And
have an entertainment lawyer.
when they hear that a record label sign them, I don't know, man,
Yes,
man,
nah.
and I'm like, shake body.
Make I know you like even me too, I did part of it. My
They don't
elder
tell
sister is a lawyer, so I gave my sister my contract to help me prove it. She told me, but this is not a contract. This is a contract I'm missing. That was how she put it. But don't worry. I mean, it'll be nice because before then, I mean, I traveled out twice. How you go take reasons the person who don't carry it? So you don't. But I feel like I said, it was because they had issues the artists before me. That was what it just reduced the energy. So I can't even blame them. But my sister told me, but even as maybe we sign up.
Just wanted to blow.
You get me? Say that 4 years. So a lot of the time we know say all of them creatives now get strong get. I'm talking to you the drink Gary. You are the follow talk. So what should they look out for in a contract?
So I'm not gonna say one thing. Maybe two. The first one is the effectiveness of the commitment. That label. You know it's beyond, oh, I'll do this, I'll do that, I'll do this. Are they going to be committed to your project?
No.
Is it that they want to make fast money or they want to make better money? Are they ready to win and lose with you as a creative? You need to know that, because I mean, everywhere no fee they go smooth like that. That's one. Then the other thing, as a creative, be careful of how you throw your intellectual property rights outside. Like that one is important, because at the end of the day, I tell creatives, now your pension with that too. Because you get to a stage.
Don't be like, say,
you will get to a stage that they won't be calling you for shows again. Not because you are not alive, not because you are not good, but the vibe don't change. Yeah, time they go. I mean, I think these are like the two most important. Yeah.
You see that time don't change. Yeah. You know, there was this time. I think it was this episode we talked about the OGs. Let me use the word OGs. The OGs trying to link up with the IGs. The OGs trying to link up with the IGs just to.
I may not let them.
Yeah, I think somebody else. You see, I feel like a lot of the time, which is, I mean, we discussed it one time because we always talk about the mind.
Absolutely.
Sometimes people's mind have been caught up to that accolade, that applaud, that money so much that you don't think you can ever go out of fashion. So I tell people this all the time. The vibe of the industry is not determined by you. It's determined by what the majority of the industry goes with. So there was a time that Shaku Shaku was the thing.
Yes.
There was a time that
of blended memories.
So shout out to everybody who's been a part of the space. So now we're going to be having to do, you know what we do now? Games. So we just use that and relax.
You know, if you're moving out boxes, that is just props.
I love to say na him.
Let him take it and shake it himself.
No.
So you know go.
I go shake him. I go take him. I go give him to you. Go read and he go.
No, make him pick.
No. I don't want.
You should pick and give it to us.
I don't want. Some people
No, maybe not pick.
Some people when they touch it sometimes.
Make it not pick.
I don't want to make it.
And he's a lawyer.
I think say na pounds then side.
Pounds.
If
No problem.
you collect the answer, you go give you pounds.
Because I thought I saw someone like Emefiele before entering. Emefiele. Odofiele.
Okay. This is it.
Nothing did, yeah.
I'll give you
the answer.
Okay. Now this is even very simple.
Wait, if this answer is, if this question is simple, I go sweep this out, professor. Because how come, like how many the only hard.
Okay, so the story is not even a story, but for me, I think it's a story.
Okay.
A very short, sharp story. So truck driver, you looking from under. Okay. The truck driver is going down a one-way street, the wrong way. The truck driver is going down a one-way street the wrong way and passes at least 10 cops. 10 police officers. Why is he not caught? A truck driver is going down one-way street the wrong way. One-way streets the wrong way. One way now.
What do you mean?
Here now, the wrong way, which is wrong, right? And passes at least 10 police, 10 olokpa, and they no stop him.
Wait, hold on.
Ah.
And you're going to say easy.
You know it's you.
I don't understand. This producer, he get people from back.
One way.
One way.
You could need biro.
The wrong way.
Board mass.
One way.
And he was the wrong way. But then he passed 10 policemen. But then they don't catch him. Why?
No stop and search, nothing.
A truck driver. And he was driving in his sleep.
Man, Nigeria don't stress
Just
me.
guess,
I know
just.
it means that the road no be wrong way with that. Nigeria don't stress me past this.
Okay. Okay, so let me just say that.
No, wait.
Okay.
Wait. In the work now.
A truck driver is going down a one-way street.
In the work, you know.
In the work now.
The wrong way.
He's not driving.
He's not driving now. In the work now.
Chopper!
You learn more law. I'm already learning. Nigeria will not stress me. So I won't stress me again. Good job.
Shout out to everybody who's been a part of the podcast today. I hope you guys
Thank you.
were able to learn a thing or two from all
Yes,
this
so.
discussion.
So, but before we go, I want to ask you a question. Are you available to mentor?
Yeah. From July.
Not a stressful.
Yeah,
student?
from July.
I like
From
the way
July?
you said it.
Okay, is it gonna be like?
It has to be virtual.
All right. No
Because if it's physical,
problem.
that person may not be able to meet up in my speed. And I don't like making people uncomfortable. Like me, 12 o'clock, bam, mule waluni or no, me. The person may not maybe thinking that so we can do virtual once in a while, physical.
You heard it, because I'm asking a question that is on your mind.
Yeah, you'll be
Because when you see this, because when you listen to this podcast, you'll be like, oh, they said a lot of things, and I'm a student, I want to learn this. Because we know that people used to think that, I don't know, maybe it's the truth though, that music money, intellectual money is like.
Oh God, boy.
It's only in Nigeria that we don't have structure now. Maybe UK, US.
Structure what?
You pay per hour. If you want to consult a lawyer, you pay the lawyer per hour. But here in Nigeria,
But do you think the structure will come into place?
no, it would. It would.
It
Very
will
soon.
eventually. I mean,
It
it's a
would.
system.
In your own time.
First subsidy, 4 years, 8 years, and they no come out time. If they don't come out time now, so we don't die in it. Though it dey affect us, so make government pity us. It dey affect everybody. It dey affects me.
Finish. All right, so we have to go now.
Thank you guys.
What's that one advice that you could just say out to somebody who is just in one corner of his room, still singing, still practicing his vocal powers and all of it, that the uncle somewhere or somebody has promised him or her that I will sign you soon, and probably there's a deal already on ground. What's that one advice you have to tell the person?
Yeah, in this world alone, don't wait on anybody. Yeah, in this world alone. That your uncle will promise you, even die tomorrow, God.
So keep working.
So just keep working, keep pushing yourself.
All right, thank you so much for listening. Thank you so much for joining us. Make sure you like, you put out a comment, and you subscribe to the Right Podcast. We're on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and
Spotify.
all right, you get it there. All right,
Right, Leo.
Shout out to Tope also.
Yes, so shout
Right,
out to
Leo.
Leo.
You can follow him on IG.
The Tokwe Salami.
The Tope
The
Salami.
Tokwe Salami.
All right, you can follow him up on socials,
The Tokwe Salami.
or you hear it from him, the Tope Salami on socials. All right, my name is Olafim Lola Shoko. You can call me Omidon, and Oba is here.
Ababa.
Okay, Oba.
From abroad.
As they all.
You know as they go.
All right, we love you. Shout out.